Chartered Accountants of India has emerged as a proactive, transparent and robust regulator. ICAI is regulatory body of the financial audit and accountancy profession in India, issuing standards on accounting, audit, ethics and rebuild guidance to ensure quality services, augmented and enhance the competence of peer and financial reporting review boards. Embracing technology to augment competence and capacity of members and firms to improve quality. Almost 1 lakh firms spread across India are engaged in audit, assurance, taxation, valuation, due diligence and business advisory etc. Promoting CA firms as export of CA services by working to establish presence in more than 77 cities globally. CA firms are registered with ICAI and have unique FRN. Recognized, impaneled by CHE, RBI, SEBI and other regulatory bodies. Regulated by peer review mechanism and code of ethics. Benchmarked code of ethics with IESBA to improve integrity, objectivity, competence and professionalism. Building reporting framework for the future by developing forensic accounting and investigation standards, FAIS and AQMM model for the new age. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has been consistently striving to setting up benchmarks in delivering stringent action against erring professionals through its well-defined disciplinary mechanism. FRRB promotes investor confidence by suo motu reviewing financial statement of public listed entities, examines compliance with reporting requirements of applicable statutes, accounting standards and standards on auditing to ensure good governance and protect public interest. PRB has also emerged as a transparent quality control process of ICAI in order to strengthen public confidence on auditors. Visionary and accountable taxation audit quality review has been put into place. The audit quality confidence building measures of ICAI have gone a long way in boosting Indian audit firms' global standing. Aligned audit quality framework on lines of IAASB. ICAI, through its various constituents, continuously supporting reforms in public finance accounting and management. The ICAI has been at the forefront in upholding public trust and has provided a strong foundation to growth of Indian economy.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A very hearty welcome to all the members, delegates, and dignitaries present here. On behalf of the entire ICAI fraternity, I welcome you all to the 21st World Congress of Accountants, which is indeed an historic moment as for the first time in 118 years, India, ICAI, is delighted to host the 21st World Congress of Accountants here in Mumbai, India. Celebrating ideas for future, the World Congress this time would dwell upon the theme Building Trust, Enabling Sustainability, which, keeping in mind the most important role of the profession of accountancy that is playing as the protector of public interest. And today right here, as we've all gathered here for our first technical session of the day, which is Taxation Landscape in India, I would now be inviting on stage our panelists. So a great round of applause for CAR Bupathy, past president of ICAI. I now invite on stage CA Sanjay Kumar Agarwal, who's the chairman of Committee on International Taxation. A great round of applause, please. I now invite CA Rajendra Kumar P, who's also the chairman of GST and Indirect Taxes Committee. I now invite CA Chandrashekhar V Chitale, who's the chairman of the Direct Taxes Committee. A great round of applause, please. I now invite CA Umesh R Sharma, who's the Vice Chairman of GST and Indirect Taxes Committee. And now I invite CA Cotha S, Srinivas, who's the Vice Chairman of Committee on International Taxation. A great round of applause, please. Now, without wasting any more moments, I would now be requesting CAR Bupathy ji, who's the past president of ICAI, to please deliver his address on the topic Taxation Landscape in India. A great round of applause, please.
No, nothing. The movers and shakers of ICAI in international taxation, direct taxes, GST, past presidents of ICAI Keragu, deputy president of IFAC, council members, and delegates from all over the world. Indeed, it's a great honor to be part of the World Congress. In this particular auditorium, we are here to discuss about taxation landscape in India. With my little experience of having participated in 2 other world congresses earlier, I would like to structure my short presentation in 2 parts. One, during the course of my presentation, to put some questions to these people who will answer or try to give a solution for some of the issues which I intend to raise during the course of my presentation. The second part of my talk would be, since there are many international delegates, and some of them are coming from areas where the tax system is in the progress, they are setting up the tax system, and they would like to know what is there for in India. So a small framework of Indian tax administration. India is celebrating its 75th year and marching towards its 100th year. Most of the indicators, economic indicators, are favorable for India, as echoed by many of the speakers during the last 1.5 days. And India is the happening country, and India is the most favored destination for investment. With this background, with this backdrop, I would like to tell that technology has transformed the administration of the income tax department. Earlier, we will say technology takes the first row, but now we have to tell that technology takes 60% of this room, and other 40% only is the physical work. Now, coupled with the sharing of information by the department, compliance has improved. In India, the last 3-4 years, the number of people filing returns have gone up, the volume of income is disclosed has gone up, the tax collection is robust. And it is the time to accelerate and put our foot on the accelerator, think big and grow fast. Now, coming to direct taxes, we have Mr. Chandrashekhar Chitale as the chairman. I would like to focus on faceless assessment, a new thing which has come to India. Now, there are mixed reactions to faceless assessment. One, it's very good, robust. It has to be implemented because it limits the interaction of the taxpayer with the department officials. We need not visit the department. Online, we are able to do everything, which results in the unfavorable things which are happening in the past. We could avoid all those things. So that is a good aspect. But the other side of it, the flip side of it, which I would like the council members to address, is that we come across certain assessments passed by the department, faceless assessments which they pass, without proper understanding of the set of facts and appreciating the facts. And thereafter, the assessee has to take it up on further appeal and fight it out for a long duration at a cost and time. When a taxpayer commits a mistake, you ask the taxpayer to pay interest. You penalize the taxpayer. But what I want the institute to give as a recommendation to the government is that if we do a mistake, we are asked to pay interest and penalty. If the officers repeatedly do something which is not correct, are they not accountable to society? Should not there be a review system of the quality of the orders which they pass so that they become accountable to us? So that is a process which they could initiate, and if something comes out of it, it will be good. And this is what Mr. NAFRA chairman yesterday, Mr. Dr. Ajay Bhushan Pandey mentioned, that he said the quality of audit has been good. He praised our profession, and at the same time said there is need for improvement. Similarly, the department is doing a good job in faceless assessment, but there is scope for improvement, and let them review the quality of the assessments and take it forward. The second thing for the direct taxes I would like to mention is non-resident Indians living in different parts of the globe are contributing for India's economic development in some way or the other. And just imagine a non-resident Indian is selling a property in India, and if he's selling a property in India, the purchaser is bound to deduct tax at source at 22.6%, and thereafter the non-resident has to file a return and get a refund. I'm aware that there is a process of getting a lower deduction of tax. Initially, we had some teething problems, but today it is settled, and you could file an online application and get a lower deduction of tax. But our experience has been, and the experience of colleagues when I discuss with them, is almost all cases of NRIs, when they sell their properties, it results in a refund. What I am trying to say is, why deduct tax at a higher rate and then give them a refund? This quantity of time you spend, the assessment time you spend, the paperwork, which is the work which is being done, and the cost involved could be avoided. And that is why they said yesterday, it is 3 Ps. Many alphabets were used throughout the presentation, and I would like to borrow. It is not only the profits which is important, but the people and the planet also is important. So for the department, it is not only the revenue which is important, it's the taxpayers' convenience also which is important. Let us look into it. These are the 2 points on direct taxes. Now coming to GST. GST, as soon as I say GST, Rajendra Kumar's reaction is different. He is the chairman of the GST committee. Now GST, what is happening is, if a service provider is providing a service and he collects the GST and he is not remitting the GST, he is not filing the requisite forms with the GST portal, the person who is wants to claim the input credit, he is unable to get the credit because the service provider has not complied with the requirements. That means X is penalized for Y's default. I don't think this is the international experience. Whatever is the international experience, we follow best practices from the globe, and whatever is the best practice, we should adopt here. So is it not possible to have a relook on it and give the input tax credit and take the person who has defaulted in non-payment of GST or the filing of the returns to task? So this is about the GST input tax credit. Again, second point on GST on input tax credit is, I, as an individual, want to renovate my house. I want to appoint an interior and have to pay some service charges to him, and he has to collect GST. I will not be able to take the credit because I am not in business, I am not a registered GST. Now, in such cases, I understand, I'm not too sure. I understand in certain other parts of the world, the input tax credit is given as a credit against my income tax liability. As far as the taxpayer is concerned, whether he's paying income tax or GST is the same. Therefore, what happens is, if you can give credit under the income tax, and that is what has been mentioned in the SSR, yesterday, social responsibility, accounting profession, trusted partner in sustainability and society. International taxation, the digitalization has taken over. When it comes to digitalization, the business, disruptions are many. It is said a business which is at the peak of its affairs, within 5 years, waters down, melts down. It's disrupted, goes extinct, and the profit margins also reduce. Therefore, in this backdrop, we have to review the equalization levy percentages as well as the safe harbor rules in the. Now, safe harbor percentage of profits have been mentioned, and it's been retained for 4-5 years. And that is the thing which has to be changed. Now, for the international delegates who have, our tax administration is now totally online. It's very good. People who file returns, online they have to file, assessment is processed, immediately it is done, and bigger cases take a little longer time. They get information from various regulators and agencies. They collaborate all these things, and if they feel there is a leakage of revenue, they take appropriate action. That's how the system works. In this limited time, I have only this much to tell. I only would like to conclude, when we have these type of people from all over the world, and when you are participating in this, in some of the airports, I have seen a placard near the petrol tanks. The placard which reads as follows. It says, "Our groundwork takes you sky high." The groundwork which the office bearers and these people have been doing over a period of, say, a few months and last 3 days takes us sky high. We should acknowledge the efforts of all these people for the good work they have been doing. Great job done. I would like to say that a small thing I would like to end. Winston Churchill was invited to speak on a forum like this. They asked him to speak for 30 minutes. He was hesitating. Then the organizer said, "You can speak for 20 minutes. He was still hesitating. Then they said, "You can come and speak only for 5 minutes, sir." They said, "Impossible. I will not come, because it is more difficult to speak for 5 minutes than for 20 minutes. So that 5 minutes they are giving me, I am exceeding their limits. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for the patient listening and your. In the course of those presentations, if they could cover some of the points which I have raised, it will be too happy for me to take home these points, and as also for the delegates. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for the patient listening.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights on this session. Moving forward, I will now be requesting CA Sanjay Kumar Agarwal, who is the chairman of the Committee on International Taxation, to please deliver his address. A great round of applause, please.
Thank you, Nidhi. Honorable past President, Mr. R. Bupathy, friends from the council on the dais. Good to see that the senior presidents have come here to give us company. For all 4 days, they are looking to it that whether we are working correctly according to the expectation of the international delegates. So BP Rao sir, Honorable past President sir, and my council President K. Raghu, the secretary of the institute is also sitting here to oversee that whether we are performing asset or non-performing assets. And the international delegates council colleague also sitting off the dais, Pramod ji, Abhay Chatterjee, and Piyush Chatterjee is sitting here. Let me tell you, sir has said about certain questions which they have been referred to the council as a council colleague. The vice chairman of the committee will answer because all practicality he has to handle. So he will answer all questions so far as what Bupathy sir has raised. But let me tell you, when we started, I am 86 qualified. In 1993, when the international tax started taking the shape in India, we were 10th in the 10th largest economy at that time. We moved to the 5th, and now we are striving towards that only US and China will be ahead of us and will be 3rd in the world. Because it is the all-round development which is taking place in the world. As yesterday, the industrial tycoon said that the average Indian age will be 38 years in coming 2050. Now that is something is bringing the revenue from the service sector. And I'm glad to tell you that in 2020, we have risen from 2016, 1,005 billion to 1,064 billion in 2020. So these are the official data, and the export of the services has increased to 214 billion, whereas the import was very less, and that is where the service sector is giving the revenue from the international arena. There is a large increase in the number of the foreign companies, those who have come in India, and we welcome them. And that is what sir has said, that income tax, they have made their system transparent and faceless, except for few where the search and seizure cases are there or where the international taxes are there. A lot of complexities has to be handled. Everything. I welcome Ramaswamy sir, past president sir. So 3,219 companies are there in 2022 which are active as compared to 100 companies in 2018-21 according to the government data. Now I come to take you to some of the things where we have been given the recognition. We are now in G20. You must have heard Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, is heading now. In OECD, let me tell you, we were never received any email as to give the contributions. And in this year, we have given contribution to OECD, and they allow us to participate even virtually also, and all physical interaction, they say you can come at any time without any invitation. In UN also, we are playing a big role. Though I have still some time, but in order to fill up and finish, because my great friend Chitale will speak on direct taxes, which is very near to your heart. But let me tell you, now Institute of Chartered Accountant is being given opportunity in every initiative by the government of India, not only on international tax, domestic tax, economic, everywhere we are being invited, and we are uh, working as a bridge between the stakeholders and the government in every initiative. And you must have seen here, though it is an IFAC event, mostly based on accountancy, but we are dealing with various subjects in this. We are still here. You can see all these council members here available, roaming here. If you have any query, if you have any issue, please let us know, and we will glad to handle it. And I'm also thankful to all of the international delegates, those who have come in huge numbers. If they have faced any difficulty anywhere and something is wrong, we are responsible. But if something good is happening, it is only your participation which has helped us to achieve this mammoth success. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your such a meaningful address. Moving forward, I would now be requesting C. Rajendra Kumar P, who's the chairman of the GST and Indirect Taxes Committee. So a great round of applause, please.
The session chairman, the R. Bupathy, the past president of ICAI, past presidents who are gracing the hall today, the B.P. Rao sir, the K. Raghu sir, Central Council colleagues, Pramod Jain ji, Abhay Chhajir ji, Anuj Goyal ji, Sushil Goyal, our past chairman of the GST and Indirect Taxes Committee and our mentor, Rajesh, the regional council member from the southern region, Secretary Dr. Batra ji, and Dr. T. Paramasivam, who is seated here from the southern region. Ladies and gentlemen from across the world who have congregated here for this wonderful global event, the World Congress of Accountants 2022, held in the incredible India, the city of Mumbai, which never sleeps. Welcome. Welcome to the delegates from the IFAC board. We are honored that you are here. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, consumption taxes world over, they say, should not be regressive. Should not be regressive. But then, consumption taxes are something which keeps the government moving up and going. Consumption taxes are those which judge the economy of a country. And consumption taxes are those which are dynamic in nature. They are the movers and shakers of a nation's economy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Indian history of consumption taxes is one of the ancient, one of the oldest records of levy of consumption taxes are available in the Indian history, Arthashastra. If you go to that book, which talks about taxation, which talks about politics, which talks about everything that should happen in a country, ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you that you will find historical references of consumption taxes. We have seated here a very important personality. The Deputy President of the IFAC, Mr. Jean, is seated here. Sir, I not only welcome you, but I would like to urge you that the IFAC shall play a major role in the OECD's development agenda of the consumption taxes in the universe. The Indian history of consumption taxes, as I told you, as it developed today, and today as we stand in this World Congress, I must proudly say that India is the only federal nation in this universe, which has the consumption tax like GST levied across. in its equal terms everywhere, whether it is central government or state government. And if you talk of countries abroad, whether it is provinces or the federal government. One of the largest federal countries, the United States of America, does not have a consumption tax levied like India. Mr. Jean, it's a great opportunity for accountants across the world to impress upon one of the biggest nations in this world to come on one single table and have a tax like OECD's guidelines. Yes, India is one of the 100+ countries which levies consumption tax on supplies. And there's no country which has one single rate except one or two. Rather, I can say except two countries I have seen, maybe the UAE, GCC countries and Singapore. And both the countries today, except barring Singapore, the GCC countries are in serious discussion whether the levy, which is at one single rate, is correct. Because the beer and milk are taxed at the same rate. Past President Bupathy sir was referring about the input tax credit. You also call it tax credit, tax deduction in some countries. There's no single country in the world which gives a seamless tax credit. There's nothing called a seamless tax credit. As they say, there's nothing called as free lunches in this world. There's nothing called a seamless tax credit. There are breaks, there are dividers, there are speed breakers placed when you take a credit of the input taxes. Now, when it comes to input taxes, there is an executive decision, there is a political decision. In fact, GST, or rather any consumption tax, is a best political tool in the hands of any political party to impress upon the electorates when it comes to elections. It has happened anywhere in the world, not only in India. Every single country which levies GST, which levies VAT, has used this as a best political tool to impress upon their electorate. Sir was referring about a supplier not paying the tax, a supplier not filing the relevant forms on the GST portal, and the recipient suffers. Sir, in India, this is not an executive decision. This was not an executive decision because when you had the draft bill of the GST, you never had this provision. But this is a political decision. Because many states in India which form part of the GST Council literally took upon the council table that day and said, no, it shall not be done this way. We don't have a mechanism. We don't have people to drive this in this manner. And hence, let us put across this responsibility also to the recipient and the supplier together, because it is a contract between both of them to supply and receive, and government shall not stand in between them. But then, sir, each and every year, numerous representations are being made to the government of India. Representations go to the GST Council, to the states, and I must impress upon people seated here who are from the states in India, to impress upon your state governments to ensure that whatever Bupathy sir said now, that the tax credit should be seamless. It doesn't matter whether the supplier has paid or not. It is not the recipient's responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, with these brief thoughts, I would request all of you seated here, if you have any questions to the committee, you may ask us at any point of time. And our committee is one of the very active committees. The work of our committee that we do will be detailed out by the Vice Chairman of the committee, CA Umesh Sharma, and with a simple thought that with GST, you are always young. With GST, your mind is always active, because this is a tax which keeps amending. And not only in India, every part of the world you'll find amendments to this particular legislation, because as I said, it is one of the most dynamic taxes in the history of mankind. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us even more on this session on taxation landscape in India. I would now be requesting CA Chandrashekhar V Chitale ji, Chairman of the Director Taxes Committee, to deliver his address. A great round of applause, please.
Honorable Chairman of this session, past President of the Institute, CA Bupathy ji, Honorable past Presidents present in the audience, CA P. Rao ji, CA Ramaswamy ji, CA K. Raghu ji. Incidentally, Ramaswamy ji, row in first row seat is reserved for you, besides Raghu ji, and yeah, welcome. Vice President of IFAC. From Maldives, I understand Vice President is there. My colleagues on the desk, off the desk, delegates from across various countries, I am seeing from Maldives, Africa, and various other countries, and from ICAI. All of you, ladies and gentlepersons, it's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you at this particular session on taxation. The canvas of this session is the direct taxes arena and what the role ICAI is playing in this direct taxation arena. As you are aware that in this country, the law is governed by the Income Tax Act. Then in Annual Finance Act, the rates are decided. Then the apex body administering the law is Central Board of Direct Taxes. It keeps on issuing notifications, circulars, prescribes various forms and makes administrative rules. And then we have various courts giving rulings on tax matters. So we have a judge-made law. Every single person sitting in this audience, I am sure, is paying income tax in their respective countries. So I'm not going to dilate on these parts of income tax because you are too well aware. So the later two parts, one is the role of Direct Taxation Committee for the purpose of educating the stakeholders, and role of Direct Taxation Committee in making representation with the governments and various other authorities in the arena of direct taxes would be more focused by me during my presentation. And I'm sure that those delegates who are from out of India, from other countries, can also take this forward. And if in their respective countries they need any of assistance from ICAI in the matter of direct taxation, we would be very happy to provide it, because there are some of the countries from Middle East, they are going to unveil this direct tax regime. In other countries also, there is income tax law, but the depth which is there, the loopholes, those have been plugged in India. I think it is a case to be examined, case to be learned. So that assistance ICAI is very happy to provide to all the countries across the globe. As far as our Direct Taxation Committee is concerned, these are the terms of reference which our council has provided for this committee. And in this particular framework, the Direct Tax Committee engages itself. So I'll not deal with each and every one. You will have those PPTs available subsequently, but predominantly to examine the direct tax laws, rules, regulations, circulars, notification, etc., which may be enacted and issued by the government from time to time, and making suggestions to the government regarding the difficulties faced by the taxpayers, by the tax councils, and the stakeholders. It is also to educate the stakeholders in the arena of direct taxation, to come out with publication, and we engage ourselves closely with the government in policy makings. Annually in India, our financial year is commencing from 1st April and ends on 31st March next. So the union budget is presented on 1st day of February. So pre-budget memorandums are submitted by the ICAI, in which various stakeholders' concerns are brought to fore, and various other matters, provisions which would help in development of economy and other aspects are dealt with. We also hold various seminars, conferences, and publications. So this comes from our terms of reference. So I'll not go into detail into terms of reference. Let us come to the canvas of our functioning of Direct Taxation Committee. And briefly, this is the canvas in which the Direct Taxation Committee is working. So as far as our committee is concerned, we are providing monthly tax times, because as you are aware, taxation is a dynamic field. Once when you learn tax, it is not that the same provisions will continue for months together, years together. Even there are changes from day to day, several judgments keep on coming. They refine our understanding about the tax laws. So it is necessary to keep abreast with the developments that are taking place. So the Direct Taxation Committee comes out with Tax Times, a monthly journal, wherein all those developments that have occasioned during the month that has ended are captured. Then whatever the incentives of direct tax committees are union budget, then summaries, seminars and conferences are conducted, technical papers are presented at various seminars and conferences, publications, circulars, notifications, even some significant judgment is there, some significant circular or notification is there. Immediately it is released, because we cannot end till the end of the month when it figures in Tax Times. And besides this, even representations are made to the government on the circulars. At times, there are due dates. Close to the due date, if there is some natural calamity, etc., and the stakeholders are facing difficulty in meeting those deadlines, in that case, it is necessary to bring to notice to the government that there needs some relaxation in those due dates, or if certain difficulties are faced in administratively complying with the provisions, or maybe in substantive provisions, those are also brought to the notice of the government and the Central Board of Direct Taxes. As far as administration is concerned, CBDT, as far as law is concerned, the government, and our representations are taking due notice by the government, because we are not influenced by any subjective bias. We are making those representations in the interest of the country and in the interest of the stakeholders. So they are held more in high esteem. These are some of the recent publications that we have come out with. As far as India is concerned, it has one peculiar feature, which is called income tax audit. Whenever you are compiling your income tax or your income return, there are certain provisions, certain allowances, certain disallowances, certain incentives, certain provisions arresting the tax evasion. In this background, in India, we have more than 6 crore assessees. However, the administrative numbers of officers is limited, so it is not possible for them to attend to each and every return of income. So particularly in case of big business returns, it is necessary that before they are scrutinized by the income tax officer, some accreditation is given, some comfort is given to him. So we have the provisions of tax audit, wherein those provisions are certain allowances, disallowances are narrated, and the chartered accountant certifies them. So we have brought about this guidance note on tax audit. There are various other provisions. Honorable Chairman talked about the faceless assessment. So yes, about faceless assessment, the matter is under compilation. And various other publications, particularly we have started the arena of taxation of virtual digital asset. So on that also, we have come out with publication. I am sure that there are pros and cons for faceless assessment, but it is in long-term interest of the profession where solely the focus would be on law and facts. So with these friends, this is the contribution of ICAI in the arena of direct taxation. And for any countries abroad, if they want any assistance, any help, or if you have any better things which we can adopt, we are welcome for mutual exchange. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a thorough presentation and a wonderful address. Moving forward, I will now be requesting CA Umesh R Sharma ji, who's the Vice Chairman of the GST and Indirect Taxes Committee. A great round of applause, please.
Good morning. The theme of the conference is based on the sustainability. And very interestingly, the topic of today's discussion is taxation landscape. And when we mix the meaning of landscape, it tells us to change the appearance of the land by planting trees, flowers, and other plants. So this is a very beautiful topic and the heading of the topic. And when we want to change a landscape of a land, and the landscape is India, and in India, there is an Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. And when we look at this, who has changed the landscape of ICAI? We have the architects, like our past president who are sitting here, they have changed the landscape of ICAI. And who is gardening now them? We have the respected regional, central council members and regional council members who are gardening. And very importantly, who are taking the fruits. Our respected members are taking the fruits, and our citizens of India are enjoying the knowledge which is imparted by ICAI. Now these fruits will be distributed across the globe by our foreign delegates here. To discuss on this topic, my Honorable Chairman R.K. Sir has given you glimpses of the GST, and I have to present before you what we are doing in the Indirect Tax Committee of ICAI. So we are truly distributing knowledge to all our members. The key objective of our committee is to make indirect tax laws in the country simple, transparent, certain, and equitable. Yes, earlier it was complex, now we are making more simple. Then to provide suggestions to the government of India and to the international tax body. Recently, we have been there for the International VAT Association conference at Barcelona, where we shared what India is doing in GST. And let me tell you some interesting facts. We have the largest taxpayers, 14 million taxpayers, which is largest in the world for indirect tax. We are having 96.8 crore tax return filed in India, then 3.303 crores e-way bill generated, then 1,580 crore invoices. Friends, e-invoicing is largest in world which is generated in India, and we are proud of that. Then 47.73 lakhs crores of tax payments has been done through our system. Then 25.54 crore payment transactions are happening. And who is helping to do this? We all tax experts in India are doing this. And I am proud that chartered accountants are helping government to do this and to the clients. Then to enhance the awareness of knowledge of indirect tax in India, further to conduct training program for the government officials. This is our brief reference. I am just highlighting what we are doing in India. We are partnering with the government. We are enriching the agenda of union budget by giving pre-budget and post-budget memorandum to the government, and they are incorporating the changes which we suggest. Further, in partnering the government, we are assisting for reforms in tax laws because indirect tax in India have customs, excise, GST, VAT. Further, the suggestions which we are giving, they are being supported and they are being taken care by the state governments also, because in India we have a central tax which is by the central government, governed by them, and then we have state taxes, that is state GST. So ICAI is providing capacity building programs to many of the states in India. Near about 14 plus states have enriched their officers. 1,000 plus officers have trained, and this is the first time ICAI is doing it at large scale. Then technical publications are there. We are supporting UAE VAT for development of the certification courses, and many more initiatives are being taken care by. In this year, we have 10-point GST short video series, which is largely popular on our website. Empowering the members and creating awareness. Look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers. 12,000 plus members skilled in the certification courses, which is one of the largest. 442 members of UAE VAT certification. Then 10.11 lakh participants in 9,000 plus program. 11,000 plus through e-learning. And then comes the last. When we look at the numbers, I want to show you 4,12,000 plus copies downloaded of the background material. Hats off to all our knowledge partners, all our speakers and writers who are contributing on behalf of ICAI. And India loves this background material. Whenever they refer to GST, yes, our Honorable Prime Minister has also given us appreciation letter, which is very unique, and we are proud to receive this letter from our Prime Minister. And ESTN network, this is the one of the robust technological network related to tax in the world, and proudly ICAI is partnering with GSTN for such a robust technological development in India. These are some few acknowledgements given by the state governments of the capacity building, and we are publishing every year the revised publications. Now, last 25 seconds are with me. I can proudly tell you what is meant by GST for Indians, CAs. It will be global service tax experts in future. Yes, our Indian CAs will be able to provide much more services across the globe because we had a complex system. Now we are changing it into simplified system. Now we are ready to partner with the other nations. With this brief note, I end my session here. My time is over, but looking forward to discuss more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful presentation. Moving forward, I would now be requesting CA Cotha S. Srinivas, Vice Chairman of the Committee on International Taxation, to give his address. A great round of applause, please.
Namaste. I am delighted to stand in this wonderful auditorium addressing the galaxy of enlightened intellectuals. The foreign delegates, welcome to India. I hope you are enjoying the hospitality of World Congress of Accountants that has been extended by ICAI team. Today, we are sitting here to understand the taxation landscape in India. Of course, we had the chairman of International Taxation, Sanjay Kumar Sir, who said about the initiatives. Then we had chairman and vice chairman of GST committee. Also, we have the chairman of Direct Access Committee who explained the initiatives of ICAI. Just to tell you about the committees, ICAI works on committees. We have various committees, and we work in the form of committees, and we help the government in various initiatives. To tell you in international taxation language, in transfer pricing, we talk about arm's length pricing. So I can say even ICAI is an extended arm of the government of India, where we call ourselves as partners in nation building, and a lot of initiatives will be done by ICAI in helping the government for doing various initiatives. Today I'm here standing to tell you about some of the activities of Committee on International Taxation, the ICAI's role in tax reform process as such. First of it is partnering the government in establishing a fair, transparent, and equitable tax regime for inclusive economic growth. As all of you are aware, in 1991, this liberalization started in India, and over a period of time, international taxation has taken a lot of momentum, and today we have a lot of transactions dealing with international tax clients. Then we also actively participate in tax matters in OECD and UN. So recently also we have giving our representations and our thoughts on Pillar 1 and Pillar 2, and building capacities of members of ICAI in international tax area. So when I talk about building capacities, we conduct post-qualification courses for the benefit of members in international taxation. So far, we have trained more than 4,800 members in international taxation and transfer pricing. So we have been doing this from past 1 decade, and a lot of members have got educated on international taxation and also transfer pricing. Then we do series of refresher courses on international taxation and transfer pricing, and we have given the list of members who have got benefit out of these particular programs from state-wise. So what all the things we do this e-learning courses, we bring out publications, we conduct seminars, webinars and conferences, and also regular updates on international taxation will be shared, and developing certificate course on UAE corporate tax. Recently, UAE has come out with a taxation that is corporate taxation. ICAI is taking initiative, and we have been helping them to set up this tax legislations, and also to help the members of UAE to learn these international tax aspects. Then some of the significant achievements in last 1 decade, I can say, we received approval for the diploma course in international taxation. So it's a three months course, diploma course, where members will be taught in detail about the international taxation, and it has been done from 2015. And as both direct taxes and indirect taxes, even in international taxation, we submit pre and post budget memorandum, and also submission on the public consultation documents, as I said, issued by OECD with respect to Pillar 1 and Pillar 2. Recently, we have been submitting our views on those aspects, and submission of representation to CBDT on difficulties faced by business and the members in implementing tax laws and regulations. So the chairman of this session raised one point on NRI members. When they sell a property, there is a taxation, TDS provisions of 20.8%. He was telling that there are certain provisions where you can apply through Form 13 and get for lower deduction of taxation. But as he said, definitely it's a point of concern where it will be difficult practically for everybody to get that lower deduction of taxation. So we will take this point, and whenever the budget memorandum is there, or whenever we get an opportunity, we will definitely put before the government as such, maybe either to simplify the procedures or reduce the taxation, as you said. Then some of the other achievements, we have this short series of online interactive courses on international taxation and transfer pricing, publications relating to international taxation and transfer pricing, special arrangements for members, corporate database as a special discounted offer, then exclusive webinars on tax treatment for Indian investments in foreign and foreign investments in India with different ICA foreign chapters like UAE, Canada, etc. So we have association with other foreign chapters and we do courses on this international taxation and transfer pricing and regular updates in the field of international taxation to the members at large. So these are some of the initiatives, I should say, done by the Committee on International Taxation. And I hope all of you are enjoying this World Congress of Accountants, the topics that has been discussed here and the hospitality that has been provided. I hope if you like the hospitality and what all the arrangements that has been made, kindly tell to your friends. If there is any improvements that requires to be made, please come and tell us, the ICA team who is organizing this particular event as such. Once again, I thank each and every one of you for being here and giving us an opportunity to share some of our thoughts on landscape of taxation in India. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your address. Now, as we conclude this session, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to our panelists on stage, CA Bupathy ji, CA Sanjay Kumar Agarwal, CA Rajendra Kumar P, CA Chandrashekhar V Chitale ji, CA Umesh R Sharma ji, and CA Cotha S Srinivas. Thank you all for your presentations and making this session so interesting and meaningful. And I also all the questions, our panelists are going to be downstage. You can contact them. You can ask them directly there. The questions will be welcome down the stage. Yes, I would also now be requesting CA Sanjay Kumar Agarwal ji to present a memento to CA Bupathy ji, past president of ICAI, as in the honor of his presence here. A great round of applause, please. I also thank all the members and delegates present here for their participation and making this session a resounding success. Now, in next 1 minute, we will be beginning with our next session. Our next session starts in 1 minute and it is as interesting and exciting. It's based on the robust regulatory framework. I request all the delegates and members here to stay back for the next session as well.